All right, here it is. This is my 2024 Maverick R, and in this video we're gonna cover all the modifications we've done to it, and it's a ton. Let's do it. Alright, so about 4 or 5 months back, we rolled this machine pretty bad in Oregon, in the sand dunes, and basically destroyed the frame, some suspension components, and just a little bit of damage overall everywhere, including some plastics. Today, we're showing off a basically brand new machine. I rebuilt this thing. SF Raceworks helped me with some repairs, and let's get into all the modifications on this machine because it's a ton to cover, and I wanted to make sure I got this done before we destroy it again, as far as, you know, sandblasting it goes, here in Glamis for our ride. You probably already saw that video. Ton of fun, but this one, we're showcasing it still clean, still looking pretty. Let's do it. Well, first off, you can see the paint job. We got a beautiful red. This is actually off a Chevy Silverado. In fact, my Chevy Silverado, same color as my truck. This is, I believe it's called Cardinal Red. And we got this done by a gentleman over at SS Motorsports. He was recommended to me by Raul over at Dirt Direct. He did a fine job, but do not mind these paint chips. These paint chips are because of this carbon fiber that's rubbing on it. But the paint, he did a beautiful job on it. And that's throughout the whole machine. All the fenders, all the front area, the front fascia, basically everything that you see here on the side is all painted. And I think it looks freaking just gorgeous. As far as cosmetics goes, we also got a different look with these TMW doors. We got that with the door bags. We'll show you the interior in a second. The cage, another difference in cosmetic from a stock Mav R. This is a TMW cage, but it was modified by our friends over at SF Raceworks. Shout out to Mike, Dean, Keith, and all the boys. And he did an A+ bar that ties into the actual chassis, so that looks great. So after that last crash, I wanted to make sure I got something stronger, so that A+ bar is going to help a lot in case of something, God forbid, happens. More exterior changes on the body itself would be the trunk. This trunk enclosure is made by TMW Off-Road as well. I think it's the nicest one on the market. Maybe not the roomiest. There are other ones that have more of a dome shape, but I think this nice flat look gives it a sleek look to it. I'd rather have this than the dome. Also in the back, Dirt Direct with their chase light setup. We did a powder coated red with their black, and I left their logo in there because Raul was always hooking me up, so I appreciate him. And then you saw the carbon fiber trim here at the back of the tail lights. That's made by Forworks. And at the very front is also made by Forworks. This hood, also made by Forworks, is the emblem in the front, so that's carbon fiber as well. I might as well mention it, carbon fiber dash, but this is by Glasscraft. It looks sick. This whole setup coming in, transitioning from red to carbon fiber black, looks freaking pretty cool. I like it a lot. So other things exterior wise, we got a front bumper by TMW. We have a grill by TMW and the side grills also by TMW, and then some lighting that also changes the cosmetics of it is from Baja Designs with these new amber trail lenses. They're a little bit different. They look very nice as well. So as far as the body goes and the cosmetics, that kind of changes everything as far as making it look like a different machine from stock. We have a ton of accessories going on, obviously, with the lighting, with the mirrors. We'll get to that in a second, but first I want to cover some suspension because there's a lot of changes on this as well. Suspension, we have HCR lower arms, and then we have upper arms by SF Raceworks. HCR doesn't make any uppers, and SF Raceworks does make uppers, and they're pretty badass. They're chromoly. So we got those from SF Raceworks, and these the lower ones from HCR. I do like the HCR ones. They have nice high clearance and they look boxy and cool. They are still ball joints on the ends, but if you saw my crash, the ball joints didn't fail. So I would say I mean, uniballs are stronger, but require a lot more maintenance. We're running ball joints. And speaking of ball joints, we're running Kellers for the lowers. For the uppers, we're running stock. You can't really do anything about that because if not, the tire would rub on a Keller cap like that one. In the back, we're also running trailing arms by HCR. And then we have some carbon trim on the shocks. We have MTS springs front and back and their limit straps. And then in the back, we got these CT Raceworks radius rods. So that's these 2 bars here, this upper bar, and then this plate is made by Wicked Fab. This is the first plate that came out. I think ZRP makes one now in billet, but this is the first one that was made by Wicked Fab. All right, I had to move spots. Don't ask me why. Where was I? Okay, suspension wise, like we were saying, MTS suspension, valving, springs, limit straps, the end caps for the nitrogen, HCR trailing arms, radius rods by CT Raceworks. We're including this plate that basically pulls this upward so you can clear the radius rods, although we did have some issues hitting. It's all good now. We got this axle protection guard by S3 Power Sports. Also on the side, I forgot to mention, S3 Power Sports makes these rock sliders basically. Those are pretty cool. We did those on gloss black. Here in the engine bay, we'll talk engine now and then we'll go into the interior. But engine bay, we got RPM exhaust, CAD delete, or not CAD delete, mid pipe, and the sport muffler, which I love, sounds great. We also have their charge tubes, their blow off valve, and their carbon fiber intake, which is absolutely nuts. I love that carbon fiber intake. It looks so sick. We did have another brands on there. Shout out to Evo. They make great products as well. But I just had to have the carbon fiber because of the theme we had going on. We do have Evo products on this side. We have their clamp system to protect the intake manifold from splitting apart with the added boost. It's necessary. Charge tubes on this side with the blow off valve from RPM. This is running Evo's tune though. So Evo all the way for the tune, for the trans tune, for the launch control, for the rolling launch control, for the flex fuel. This is running on E85 right now, but if I pour 91 in it, it'll self-adjust the tune, which is so sick. I love that part of it. And what else from Evo? Everything from Evo. In here you'll see this is made by Lone Star. It's a guard for the fans. I don't know if I needed that. I probably didn't have to buy that. That's more of a race car thing, but I bought it anyways. I got it on there. You will notice that all the coolant lines and all these lines are made by RPM. They're silicone replacements. Are they necessary? Heck no. So they look pretty cool. I think so. Jason hooked me up. Jason always hooks me up. So all the RPM products we get from them, they are a sponsor of the channel. So shout out to Jason. What else am I missing out here? Oh, Chupacabra products. Fire extinguisher. That's their I think it's 2 pound? 2 pound or 2.5. They look very similar. I think that's 2 pound fire extinguisher with their mount system, their mirrors in red, and what else? Oh, I have their Chupacabra sun visors. Before we get inside, lighting, we got Squadron Pros on the A-pillar. We got a 50-inch S8 with the amber backlit, which looks absolutely sick at night. We got S1 headlight replacement kit, also in amber. We said that already, but again, lighting. That covers all my lighting. It works great at night. Martian whips, we have, these are 3 foot, I believe. These are game changers. They have the billet cap at the top, and they're amber all up until like the last 3 or 4 inches. The last 3 or 4 inches are white. We had them custom made like that. We covered the chase light. That also has S2 Baja designs. And fun fact, these are actually red LEDs, not just a red lens. So it actually looks red at night when I hit the brakes. It's pretty cool. It actually helps a lot for people seeing behind me. Is it as good as the chase light up top? Maybe not, but this looks so sick. Raul killed it with that design. But let's see. Trying to figure out if I've missed anything. We do have the pumpers mounted down low to get some fresh air from these side panels. I don't know what you call these, but we get fresh air coming in here. We have one on each side, and that feeds into like the belt area. I basically just remove that and I pass through the hose like that. So it works good. I forgot to mention the suspension. I forgot to mention on the steering, we have ZRP tie rods with their linkage, and then we have CT Raceworks with this dampener. This dampener helps a lot, guys. I've driven Zeno's car, which is a buddy of mine's. He drove mine, and you can tell right away that the steering on this is a little bit loose, less loose. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying when I say that. The Maverick feels loose when it comes to the steering. It's a great steering, but it just feels kind of like loose and really lightweight. This helps a ton with that, especially if you hit like a rut sideways. It won't yank the steering wheel out of your hand, which I love because it's happened to me in the past. Tie rod end links are actually by CA Tech, and they work perfectly with the ZRPs. Yeah, and they're like a black hard coat. These are chromoly, I believe. Some of you guys might have noticed the TMW bumper has this mount. This is for a Martian whip. I can put a camera here on the end with a 360, so that's cool. Before we get into the interior, let's talk about the wheels. I have two sets of Venom wheels, one for the dirt, one for the sand. I love these sand wheels. These are 10, actually, these might be bigger than 11. They might be 12s. I don't remember exactly. I'd have to ask the boys over at Venom, but these things are bad to the bone. These are the Argos. I believe it's the Argo, yeah. And then these have the floating caps, and then we're running Sandcraft 18 paddle Slayers, which I've ran already in the past. They work great. The car hauls ass, and it loves these tires. I love the tires, and they're huge. One thing to note, if you ever plan to run a set of 35s like this, they will hit a Mav R. I did basically trim this as far as I could up until this mount, and it is what it is. I mean, there's no getting around that. It's something you're gonna have to do. Will it still hit? Yes. This is my first time out with the car, so it doesn't have any marks, but it will hit 100%. It's gonna rub the paint off here, but if you don't trim it, it'll actually just break both of these fenders. So you gotta trim them. Guys have already hit me up and they break both the fenders. It is what it is. If you wanna run these tires, which I do, that's what I did. Let's jump into the interior. This machine has been like really awesome, but the interior just, we went another level with this. That Glasscraft dash looks sick, and let me show you. Real quick, honorable mention, I do want to show you guys the dirt wheels, because the dirt wheels are freaking amazing. They are negative offset, so almost like stock offset, so you don't get any steering feedback like you do with some of these other offsets where they're too wide. Especially in the desert, you don't want that crazy wide offset. And they're sick because they have billet B-lock rings. They're probably my favorite wheels right now. I love those wheels, and we wrapped them in 35-inch BFG KM3s, which is probably one of my favorite tires for the desert because they're just proven. They win races. But let's go into the interior. All right, doors, door bags. TMW Off-Road with these crazy big door bags. These are made by PRP. I actually got them custom made. You cannot ask for this. Don't bother. It actually took me a while to get them, but I got red stitching on these. They normally come in a, I believe, white or gray or silver, I mean, stitching. So these are great. They're huge. They cover up the whole door, which means you won't be able to wrap anything in here or padding, but you don't need it. This looks sick. We did get these doors with these shocks, and this actually keeps the door open and pulls it open or pushes it open. One thing that was a challenge with SF Raceworks is when they added this tube, it came really close to this, and I had to put this pad here, but it does touch, but it's not damaged anything, so we're perfect there. Also, I had to flip the latches because the latches normally go on the inside and they're not sticking out like this. Normally they're like flush and sitting over here, but in order to make this work, because I wasn't going to be able to open the door, I had to flip the latches the opposite way. Basically put that latch, or I should say handle, not latch, but I put that handle on this side and this one on that side, and now we actually pull it backwards to open the door, which works great. Interior triple X seats, they look great. The ostrich on the corners, the suede in the center, the diamond stitching on the bolsters. The seats came out great. I basically copied the seats that TMW had on their blue Mav R, the first Mav R that they built. I thought that was pretty cool, so I wanted to do the same thing, but with red stitching instead of the blue. And of course the blue piping, we substituted for red. We do have a bunch of carbon fiber on this machine, like we were talking about. We have this RPM panel here. This basically gives me access to the engine, so there's a big cutout window here on the firewall, which normally there's not. Here you can see the RPM intake filter. But the beauty of this interior, when you sit in this cockpit, let me give you guys a good bird eyes view here. Maybe not bird's eyes, but POV. This is a MPI steering wheel made by well, MPI, but for Evolution Power Sports, and Evolution Power Sports switches, EVP mode shifters. What blew me away about the steering wheel is the actual tactics that you feel, the feedback, the nice clicks, the magnets that hold the shifter paddle basically closed or pulled in, and then when you pull it and you let go, the magnet pulls it back. It just feels so nice, no homo. And the buttons are super clicky, which it just works great. So that came out great. Here we have the EVP bezel that has a shift light on it. That's sick. Here we have our M1 radio for communications. We do have the intercom rocker switch over here. The intercom is hidden in this corner. And then we do have switch pros over here to control all my lighting, and then the start button. So start button, whips, rocks, dome, headlights, mirrors, light bar, and chase. And we have another switch pros in the bottom location here. One to turn on the fuel pump, because this does have one auxiliary fuel tank underneath the passenger seat. One that turns on the radios, one that turns on the GPS. This one just says spray. We haven't done anything with that button. And then we have seat heaters and driver and passenger pumpers. And then there's all the OEM controls. Here we're gonna put the USB for the screen. We just haven't made any bezels for it in order for it to fit. We are running a aftermarket master cylinder. The name is escaping me right now, but I'll put it in the link maybe in the description. Yeah, that thing makes the brake pedal feel a lot firmer. So we do have a Garmin 10-inch tread on the passenger side over there. I don't use that thing enough. A lot of people ask me what do I think about it. I don't have any thoughts on it. I just don't use it enough. We are running DKZ off-road floor mats. We did do the pedal in red. I did powder coat that myself. The gas tank on this machine, like I said, we have an auxiliary underneath the passenger seat, but we also have the RPM large capacity fuel tank that adds like another 5 gallons, I think, to the OEM tank. I mean, it's huge, and I'll show you what I mean. It takes up all the space. It extends this way, it extends into this area, which if you have a rugged radio intercom in this area, it's not gonna fit anymore, so keep that in mind, but worth it. This thing has a ton of fuel capacity. So we do have the DRT handle here. Right next to it, we have the Miller Spec sequential style shifter, which they discontinued for a second, but he's remaking it. Expect some billet versions coming real soon. So shout out to Xavier. He was running a little behind on shifters, but they're making a comeback, so yeah, keep an eye out for those. Up here you can see those Chupacabra visors I was talking about, and then the Axia mirror, dual gear dome light, and then there's a steering wheel holder by Axia. We have our pumper system, the rugged radio mounts to hold the hoses. I'm trying to see what else I'm missing, guys. There's so much stuff on this machine. Whew, I'm running out of saliva. I'm gonna have to drink water right now. There's so much stuff on the machine, guys. I went a little ham as far as like doing stuff to this machine even before I crashed, but then after I crashed I was like, F it, we're gonna paint it, no more wrap, and we just went all out. So the machine looks sick. It looks better if I look at it from the other side because the sun's killing the video here. Those are your friends, homie.
Are you done?
I'm fucking been done, fool.
Fucking red. It's shiny.
Red, shiny.
I'm gonna fuck it up.
I'm gonna fuck it up.
I'm gonna cry later. Why was I falling so close to you?
I'm not. I'm gonna fucking be right behind your ass. I'm gonna be floating in the back.
First thing you say when you get home.
Yeah, radios, because I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm lost. I was too far behind. Oh, I got my sweater. I got my side shades.
I'm gonna put my sweater back here.
Yeah, put it. I got my freaking bag with my tow rope, which I hope I don't ever need. All right, so I think the last thing we're gonna do with this is probably PPF it. And then we're gonna put the glifeutv.com logo on the side again.
Do you mean like a pee-pee?
Like a pee-pee logo, yeah. But I think that's it, guys. If I missed anything, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section down below. I have no problem answering it. If you want any of these parts, glifeutv.com. We sell basically everything you see on this machine on the website with some exceptions. Like even the dash, we don't have it on the website, but we can get it for you, no doubt. And then like other things like, I don't know, you name it, we can get it. Venom wheels, we don't have those all on the website, but we can get them for you. Oh, rock knockers. We put rock knocker mud flaps on this. I did make a custom bracket out of angle iron. Super simple. Just 3 bolts holding the mud flap and 3 bolts bolted into the frame. I just threaded the frame. Sandcraft driveline. I did put a Sandcraft driveline in this. I almost forgot about that too. Catch can. I almost forgot the catch can. The catch can is a little bit of an odd thing. We're testing this. We don't know how well it works. We had the RPM one before, but it got gunked up from me rolling it over. We had oil in there, like a ton of it, and I just didn't want to bother cleaning it. And I wanted something a little bit different, so we did a Motion Raceworks catch can, a bit bigger. Also, it's got an inlet from the valve cover and then a return will be, well, I haven't got the adapter yet, but this will turn into a return going back into the intake, kind of like factory. So it'll separate the fumes, but still return to the factory so we don't smell the fumes coming outward, because with E85 it smells bad. But we also have a vacuum line, so at idle it's pulling vacuum and pulling the fumes out of the valve cover and going into this vacuum line source here that I put. As you can see, we did AN lines, but only up to here because we need the rubber lines to go into the throttle body spacer. But that's pretty cool. And how this works, it has a check valve. So as soon as it starts building boost and there's boost inside this intake manifold, it'll actually close that check valve and you won't have any leaks of any sort, so you won't have to worry about, you know, your tune or anything. So I haven't noticed anything at idle, any weird things. You know, E85 is already weird as it is, but I haven't noticed anything more than the usual. So catch can right now is working, but we haven't even, you're watching this video and haven't even used the car yet. We literally parked and are waiting for the boys. I did forget to mention the carbon tip, the red carbon tip from RPM for the RPM Sport muffler. I also forgot to tell you what these functions are. This is the PTT, push to talk. And then over here we have the launch control / rolling launch control. And that's operated like you're pressing the brake, but using it right here at the steering wheel. So that's pretty cool. We also have a button here that kind of changes between the brake pedal or the button saying the signal for the brakes to the ECM. So just some differences there. Another thing I forgot to mention is that the driver's seat is actually power. So obviously the ignition's off, but when it's on, it'll power front and rear, which I'm very happy with, because in Oregon the seat was actually moving with the stock setup. It was like shaking and moving back because it just doesn't lock very well. I never actually experienced that in the X3. A lot of people have complained about that. I didn't think it was an issue until I got it in this car, which is the same seat as an X3. And yeah, I was having issues with the seat staying in place, but we fixed that with a TMW power seat motor. And then right next to that is the controls for the Mac Air pumper. You turn on the pumpers here, but you control the variable speed on here. So just a note for you guys. I also forgot to mention the dash from Glasscraft. There is a bezel that Glasscraft makes that is for the screen. So you have to buy that separately or as an add-on option from them. Or like I said, we could get it for you guys. Sway bar links, I also forgot to mention CT Raceworks sway bar links in the front and in the back. So those are upgraded. The sway bars are stock. I don't really think I need them, but some people do use them with the E2 Racing or Shock Therapy. But for me, I'm keeping them stock. Just got the links from CT. Here's another one, upper shock mounts from ZRP. So those are upper shock mount supports. That's pretty cool. And then rear trailing arm supports. Like we mentioned, this car wasn't a wreck. The frame was bent, and I'll show you what got fixed in a second. But in the front, we did have SF Raceworks fix the trailing arm, and then they gusseted it with a trailing arm support from Cab Fab. He's on Instagram, check him out. He makes a bunch of cool stuff. Speaking of the frame repairs, SF Raceworks basically had a chassis at their shop, cut the chassis out, and added this section from here to there on both sides because it was smashed from that Oregon roll, and then they added this plate to support that. And this tube actually has a 1.75 tube inside of it, and they welded it. I don't know how to say it. And I can't show you because the plastics are currently on the machine. But with this A+ bar, this whole section, and I'll show you guys pictures of it, it's all gusseted. This plating from the back, from this section here, all the way to the front, it's all plated. They have some speed holes, I would call them, or just holes for lightweight. But another thing I forgot to mention is this upper shock mount welded in brace that SF Raceworks made and did. So that's all TIG welded in there and strengthened up. And then they also plated the front. I'm sure you guys can see this guy here, and there's another plate right here in the whole front of the machine. So that's all TIG welded in, way beefier, way stronger. And then I did already have an S3 gusset kit, which is this guy. Pain in the butt to install, but if you want to take the time and do it, I think it's worth it. So the S3 gusset kit is in there and protecting my chassis. All the powder coating was done by Pacific Finish Powder Coating in Riverside, and the paint was done by SS Motorsports by a gentleman named Stevie, so shout out to him. I think that covers everything. Like I said, if I missed something, please let me know in the comment section down below. the machine came out great. I'm super happy with it. I'm super excited to rip it right now. And yeah, guys, we'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you buy your parts at glifeutv.com. Machine's looking rowdy. I like it.